We're going to be late for Mr. What's his name? Okay. Don't want black. Thank you, everyone. Thank you very, very much, and welcome. Welcome very much in the audience to the program. We got a pleasure of introducing to the program the guest for today's program on Super Tuesday, the year 2016 of the Christian era, and that's Danny Darrow. He's a producer here and an entertainer and a man of many, many accomplishments. We're going to be talking about things political. And Danny, once again, welcome so much to my set here on Manhattan Network on Super Tuesday 2016.
Yeah, but do you know which show it is?
What show it is?
This is your show, Harold.
Oh, yeah, that's
your,
right. My name, yeah, but nobody cares about that. My name is Harold Channer.
No, it's not. It's Harold Hudson Channer.
It is.
And I remember the most beautiful Hudson cars that they made in the 1950s. You did? What kind of a car did you have? The Hudson? What model?
I don't remember the model.
You don't remember the model?
No, I was from Detroit, so
Harold,
I knew a lot about cars.
Harold, do you know that Hudson car, when you drove it on the highway, and when it banked, when it banked from going a left turn or a right turn, it was the only car that dipped toward the turn.
Yeah, really?
All the other car manufacturers, when it turned, it dipped the wrong way, and those cars were easy to flip over.
Wow, that's a piece of engineering.
Yeah,
it should have been picked up by the whole industry.
A fabulous car.
Yeah, right.
And you're a fabulous host, Harold, whether you know it or not.
Yeah, well, whatever I wanted to bring up to you, in fact, that if they got an engineering thing like that for product A, let's say a Hudson, then that ought to be picked up by all the other people in order to advance the overall automobile industry.
Harold.
And that's a model for politics, perhaps.
But, Harold, they didn't do it, and their thinking was the other way around because everybody was buying Hudson cars in those days.
I don't remember
so what
that.
in Chicago, because I come from Chicago.
I come from
so
Detroit,
what
where
they
they
did,
made them.
they had to squeeze them out of business in order to sell their own product, and that's what they did.
That's the way things seem to have gone, rather than the cooperative mode of sharing good ideas for the advancement of the whole.
Big companies don't do that. Big companies squeeze other people out of business so they can absorb more of the market for themselves.
So is that moral lesson that you're performing, and I hope all the kiddies have been listening to take their moral lessons from for Danny Darrow. Is that characteristic of the human condition and the evolution of human society? The strong will just not pay any attention to the needs of anything other than themselves. Selfishness is the way of the world. Is that what you're trying to convey to the youth?
And so is politics.
And
politics is the same thing.
That's what I'm trying to tell you.
I know, and this is a political
show.
Politics
is like a Hudson car.
That's right.
Except that they passed it out. They didn't. They squeezed Hudson out with that good engineering thing. So the advancement of the overall system was sacrificed for the benefit of somebody who got a little bit of a gain. Why don't we just take and gain and get all the gains that are won and pass them on to everybody? So that everybody wins instead of just a few people.
It doesn't work like that. The system doesn't work like that.
Are we talking about Hudson automobiles?
We're talking about the Hudson cars that were far advanced.
46.
Yeah.
46,
we were talking about the Tucker. You remember the Tucker cars?
I do remember the Tucker.
Yeah.
I remember there was a fellow that was courting and was my sister, who was my best sister, had been head over heels in love with the guy. It was just beautiful to see.
And not the car.
And he had won. No, he had, as it happened, just after the 46, everything was going. We'd won the war and everything,
That's right.
But he had gone into where you have a lottery or something, and he had won a Packard.
Oh.
He had won it like it would be one in a million.
They were beautiful.
12-cylinder car. It was
beautiful. A buddy of mine had a 1954 Packard. Or a 53 Packard, a stick shift.
Yeah.
A stick. It was so fast.
Yeah.
It was a beautiful, big gorgeous car.
I don't know much about the
Yeah,
internal
I don't-
workings of a car, but if you got 12 cylinders, you ought to go faster than if you got only 6.
It's
I would
wonderful,
think.
yeah, but it burned a lot of gas.
Yeah.
But the gas in those days were only 27 cents a gallon.
I know, 12. I can remember
12 you
cents.
paid?
Yeah, I can remember.
Which?
I'm older than you, young man.
Yeah, I know, but the thing, let me ask you something. You paid 12 cents a gallon. I paid 27 cents a gallon. 27.9.
You was robbed.
I was robbed.
Yeah.
Which gas station did you go to?
I don't know. They were all
I
like
want to
that.
go to the same gas station you went
Yeah,
to.
well, that would have been good. Yeah,
It
that
would have been
good.
fabulous.
Yeah.
Absolutely fabulous.
And we had Kaufman's Bakery. They had really good bakery.
Kaufman's
Those were
Bakery?
Yeah, that
Oh,
was their
my God.
local. That was
How
a
much?
family
How much
run.
did you pay for a roll in those
That
days?
I don't remember. Sorry.
No, you had
I
to
don't
pay about
remember.
3 cents.
I remember that.
3 cents, Harold.
I think a loaf of bread was 12 cents.
That's right, 12
Yeah.
cents, and they
Yeah.
would slice it for you.
Oh, well, if you
They
had
would-
to, but it came Wonder Bread. Did you eat Wonder Bread? Did
Wonder
you?
Bread, no,
I
I
bet you ate rye bread. right?
Rye bread. I like
You're
the rye
Jewish.
bread.
You're
Yeah,
Jewish.
yeah,
You eat
well,
rye
Jewish,
bread.
yeah,
That's
that's
real
right.
bread.
Yeah, but
rather
the
than Wonder-
rye.
You never ate Wonder Bread?
No, but
Never ate
Wonder,
Bread?
yes, I
you
think.
could make it into a
Yeah, but it wasn't
ball.
healthy
It was
because
just-
the white
it was
bread is not
horrible.
healthy for
Yeah,
you, Harold.
Yeah.
It's
But
not-
it sold. Why did Wonder Bread sell so well in the mass market rather than the rye bread that was so good?
All right.
Out of your mother's oven.
Because the commercials.
What is it?
The people making Wonder Bread, it was a bigger company, a bigger corporation, and the little people making rye bread, the most delicious bread ever,
Yeah,
they
but-
didn't have to advertise.
I know, but what I'm trying to get at again is a metaphor for the political process. You
Yeah.
brought up the thing about the automobile. We
That's
got
right.
involved. We're now Danny. This is now Super Tuesday, 2016, the big election all over the nation to decide who's going to run the political process.
Yeah,
We
so
go
who do
ahead.
you think is going to make it?
Well,
What do
I
you
don't
think?
know. I mean, but it's going to be decided today, and we got talking about how the people who have the good
Yeah,
idea,
yeah,
like
okay.
the car,
Yeah.
or like that, they are not the ones who they don't pass it on to the overall general society. They just take it for themselves to make themselves big. And why don't they just pass it on to benefit everybody, rather than just being selfish?
No, you can't.
That's the system is selfish.
Harold,
You said
Harold.
it doesn't work that way.
The
to
political
benefit
system is
everybody.
very selfish
Yeah.
because the politicians rob, steal, allegedly rob, steal, cheat, lie.
And,
They even murder. They even murder people too
and
in
do
this
they-
country.
Yeah, murder. Yeah, right.
Of course
right.
they do, like in
and
all the other
people
countries.
across the land, across the country, across the world, they murder with their wars and things.
Yeah,
right?
I know that.
Yeah.
I know that.
So
but
why do we put up with it? Why don't we put
Why?
Why don't we put it up to where we get a really good system that benefits everybody?
because we need some honest people
Yeah.
running the government, and it's very difficult
Have
to
you
get
tried
honest.
to find an honest politician?
Yeah, you try
Do
to
you
find
think
them.
they
It
exist?
never happened.
Do
It'll
they
never
never
happen.
Never happen.
Because
Never
everybody
has?
goes out. All right, how much do the big corporations? How much is Wall Street going to pay me to go and to talk? Oh, I'm going to get $150,000 just to talk for 1 hour.
I want
Isn't that
140.
wonderful?
I want
Okay.
I want 200,000.
Yeah, $200,000.
And my lawyers are going to argue for that. And my I got an agent you better talk to.
Yeah.
They want me to talk to your lowly peons in your corporation.
Yeah. Well, the little
Yeah.
people don't know all.
Because I'm a
all about
winner.
it.
I'm a winner.
I know you're a
Yeah.
winner, Harold. You're wonderful because you had a Hudson car.
Yeah.
I know that. It's
I didn't have
fabulous.
the Hudson car. My friend had a Packard car.
You're
the one who had a Hudson
I
car.
never had
didn't
a
have
Hudson car. I never
had
did.
a. Oh,
But the Hudson cars, the convertibles were so beautiful.
you lusted after a Hudson car.
Well, I'll tell you
That's
something.
another question we could talk about. Why do people lust after things they can't have? That's another philosophical thing that could inform the political process.
That's
don't you
right.
think?
I had
They're
two.
lusting after what they shouldn't be lusting after, I think, maybe. Bad education, another issue that should be brought up in the political context, maybe.
That's right. That's
Wow.
right, Harold. Absolutely
I
right.
got an issue with a Latin teacher that I can remember from when I was 12.
All right, okay.
No.
All right, okay, that's wonderful. Latin, I
Ah.
studied, listen,
Yeah.
I took Latin lessons for about 7 days.
Amat.
Wait, I got to tell you this. I took Latin for 7 days. I studied Spanish.
7 whole days. You must have it down, right?
No, wait. I studied Spanish for 3.5 years. What else did I take?
Spanish is easy.
Yeah, it's easy. I don't speak a word. But the Italian, I got from my ex-wife.
Yeah.
My ex-wife.
That's a good
and now
way to get
Latin,
it.
I don't
That's
remember
a good
a thing.
way to get it. Yeah.
Okay. The Spanish,
you're
I don't
gonna get
remember a
it, you heard
thing.
it from me,
But
no.
my Italian wife, I learned all the.
She taught you a thing or two, didn't she?
She's
fella?
just in words only, just in words only. But Harold, I want to tell you something.
do.
The words were words that you would hear out of every lovable Italian. No, they would say, she would say, Bafangul. She would say, she was a lovely girl. Yeah, she would say, oh, he's going with a Butana.
A Butana?
A Butana, that's a whore. That's a whore, yeah.
That is not. A puta.
Oh, a puta?
A puta is
what language do you speak, Harold?
I think that is Spanish, I think.
Spanish, no.
I'm not sure.
Puta is Spanish, but a Butana is Italian. So, I mean...
It all comes from the Latin, pal.
Harold,
it all comes from the
my
Latin.
wife taught me the finest words ever.
Yeah.
I'm so glad she's not around anymore.
What is the best language in the world to swear in? I wonder.
To swear in?
Yeah. What would be the best? What's got the best sound? You got a lot of Italian.
Well, I think I like
the swear words. They really sound.
Oh, listen,
filthy.
I want to tell you something. They swear words. Okay, I was at a Friars luncheon at the Sheraton Hotel many years ago.
Yeah, right. Friars.
And Rob Reiner.
Oh, yeah.
Rob Reiner got up.
Yeah.
And and of course we had all the famous producers and directors and everybody there.
Anybody from M&N there?
I don't. At that time I wasn't at M&N and I didn't even know about M&N many years ago.
Yeah.
But anyways, and I mean, are we allowed to swear on your show, Harold?
Yeah, well, wait a minute. Whisper.
Whisper in your ear?
Whisper.
They're filthy, dirty, disgusting words.
Yeah.
Filthy, dirty,
You're going to use
disgusting.
that word?
I'm going to use every word.
Oh, my God.
He said every filthy, disgusting word you could ever imagine, and everybody was in stitches. They were roaring and laughing and everything.
He used all the dirty words?
The dirty words plus more.
Really? But he did it with a little aplomb,
with
right?
nothing in between.
Yeah, but it's all in the delivery.
And he did it with savoir-faire.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, see? Yeah.
That's
you can do that.
And
that's political
and it was
speak.
hysterical.
Is that political speak? Is that the way politicians talk?
No,
they
I don't think so.
Such wonderful
no,
things
he only...
But what they're really talking about, we're going to go kill a bunch more people because we're really good.
Harold, he only did it for effect. Only for entertainment purposes.
He was just putting them on. That's called putting them on.
Putting them down, taking them off, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But everybody loved it. Everybody loved it.
Yeah.
It's not like today. The humor of yesteryear is different than it is today.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Much more
because
clipped now.
not only the humor, but the songs are different. The movies. I saw the worst movie you could ever imagine with the biggest stars, ever.
Was that in the Academy Awards?
Well, I don't know if they're going to do it or not, but I mean, I don't know if I should mention this. In my opinion, let's say it in my opinion,
in your opinion,
because some people may have loved this movie, a movie called Hail Caesar.
I don't know that
Hail
one.
Caesar.
Is that a comedy?
Yeah, they said it was a takeoff, a spoof on clips from the 40s, from the 30s, and it had the biggest stars.
Was it Sid Caesar?
No, it wasn't Sid Caesar. It was I can't remember. I mean, it was so bad.
This is important so bad.
I just blocked it out.
The worst ever movie.
The worst ever movie I ever saw. And now I'm saying to myself, there had to be a plan, some kind of a plan, why they would produce a movie like this and pay these salaries to these
Hollywood honchos.
The Hollywood honchos. And now I think I got it figured out because what happens is that they would give them $15 million, let's say each, to do the film.
Yeah.
And then in turn, for a tax tax write-off. Yeah. And then in turn, there would be a swing, and each of the producers would go and produce a film and give it back to the film company. And that's where they would make out.
That's how they did it. Is that the
Maybe.
industry?
I don't know, but I'm saying what other reason?
Are you telling me there is shenanigans in the advertising and film industry?
Shenanigans,
I'm
not
shocked.
only
I'm shocked.
It's not only it's collusion. it's everything that you can think of. It's everything where they can make.
How about good old-fashioned patriotic, beautiful American values?
All right, Harold, I'm going to tell you something. In 1961, I was in California.
Yeah.
and I had a West Coast hit record called Impulse.
That was your record.
That
right?
was my record.
How
yeah.
many did you sell?
350,000 just in California.
1,000.
Yeah, 350,000 records on Strand Records, and they never paid me a penny.
Yeah.
And I told them I was going to sue them.
How can you have a 367,000 record sale and not get a penny?
Because they were thieves.
Wrong.
They were thieves, Harold.
Oh.
And they said, we don't pay anybody. And if you want to sue us, go ahead and sue us, because everything is in my grandchildren's names.
What does that got to do? You had everything in your grandchildren's names?
They had everything in their
everything.
grandchildren's names.
Little flim flam? Is
That's
that what
right.
you're saying?
And it's a civil action. You couldn't do a damn thing.
You were hoodwinked.
We were all hoodwinked on that
people,
label. Now, let me tell you another thing about record companies. I'll tell you, even though this is an election year.
Yeah.
Okay. I used to record.
Good time to talk about crooks.
Yes, I used to record for a lot of major labels in the city when I was a young kid.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
all right.
You got.
And the thing is, one of the biggest labels, not mentioning any names now, used to ship. Let's say in the contracts they used to ship 500,000. 800,000 records, and then they used to tell everybody, we just sold 500, 800,000 records, and then the record climbed up the charts. It was number 1, it was number 2, it was number 3, and everything else. But they weren't sold; they were shipped.
Shipped. They would say shipped.
Yeah, there's 2 words, magic words: shipped and sold.
Yeah, that's a big. There's a big difference.
That's right. Now the records that were shipped were not sold. And
what
let's
happened
say,
to the ones that were shipped and not sold?
Well, I don't know. But anyways, listen to me.
Sounds to me like the population of the world.
Let's just pick a number, and let's say 500,000.
Yeah.
So 500,000, they probably got returns.
Are those like politicians' promises?
Possibly. Could be. It could be, Harold. It could be. It could be. Now, but out of 500,000, maybe 450,000 records were returned. And they had to be exchanged for other records because there was no cash, switch there.
Yeah, right.
So what the record company used to do is used to take all the returns and never tell anyone that they were returned, and they would put them all on a ship, take them out to the middle of the ocean, and dump them.
How was that reported? How was that
never reported? Never anything.
That part's done in the dark of the night, maybe.
That's what they did.
With clouds.
That's what they did with everything, Harold.
Yeah.
And that's what used to happen.
So how does that apply to our political process here on Big Tuesday?
It doesn't apply to anything, Harold. I'm just making conversation.
No, but I think there's a comparison between our political class and our record making.
Yes, maybe there is. Yeah, because the thing is when
cheating, stealing, lying, and so forth. There's some things.
That's right, and everything.
Never delivering.
Oh yeah, and listen, you remember when our
they're all driving around in Packards.
Yeah.
12
I love them. They're beautiful cars. You got to restore them though.
You notice how they're all driving around, and they were doing that with golden coaches in Cinderella's day. Remember?
Yeah.
They all had golden.
That's right. Beautiful, gorgeous.
Has it always been like that? Always been like that?
Yeah, beautiful.
Right?
But do you remember when Obama started preaching and everything else? He says, change. We're going to have change.
They always say change.
But he never told you for every dollar that you had in your pocket, he was going to give you 5 cents for it.
I see. Yeah, that was the change.
That was the change.
That was change.
That's right. That's
You're
right.
You're going to get change, a penny.
The change. Yeah. I'm going to make sure that your dollar's only worth a nickel.
Do they have something less valuable than a penny? They had a farthing, I think, in England. Didn't there was a thing, a quarter of a penny?
A quarter of a penny? I don't remember that.
Maybe they get it down to an eighth.
What did they used to call it?
That's what's there for the
Well, the guinea. How much was the guinea?
I don't know. The guinea, I think, is a slang for a pound. I think.
A pound?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. I don't know. I don't know all these phrases. Yeah.
I just know that it always ends up as Mr. Who's the guy running? Bernie Sanders says it all winds up in the bank account of the rich and powerful.
Yeah.
Like I guess it always has. Always been like that, I guess, huh? On this Tuesday, is there any hope? You've been following the election or
I've
not?
been following the elections. No. I've been following them, and and there's listen, I mean, by the way.
Yes,
listen,
yes.
There is a film on the Clintons, if you ever want to see it on YouTube, called The Clintons Conspiracy.
smuggling drugs into Arkansas.
That's exactly. How do you know that, Harold?
Coming right
Did
out
you
of
know that?
Central America.
That's right. They used to smuggle cocaine
Yeah.
in the noses of the airplanes.
Yeah, right.
When he was governor.
Yeah, right.
That's
He got away with it.
He
Yeah.
got away with everything.
If you're going to lie big.
That's right,
Right?
lie
Is that the
big.
thing? Lie
So
big.
everything,
Yeah.
and then there was something where
Young man, lie big.
Yeah,
No.
and also there was something else where one of the news reporters, I think on NBC or CBS, interviewed Hillary Clinton and said, "Let me ask you something. Don't you ever tell the truth? Are you always lying all the time?" And she says, "What?" She says, "I don't recall lying." And
right.
he says, "Why don't you tell the truth? Why don't you speak the truth? Why don't you tell the truth?" Nothing.
Yeah, you can say that to anyone, right?
Yeah,
But if you tell the truth, you're never going to get elected.
That's right.
You got to pull the wool over
You
their
got to pull the
eyes,
wool
they
over
say.
everyone's eyes.
Yeah,
Exactly right.
everybody's eyes.
Wool. Where's my hat?
Yeah,
I got a wool hat since it's cold outside.
Yeah, right.
That's
But
right.
that's what it's about, right? Public relations, everything.
That's
like
right.
that.
That's right. And then you got the lobbyists over there. You got everything.
The lobbyists.
Everything. Listen, I mean, if you want
they're driving around in Packers.
Yeah, and if you don't make donations to the politicians, they are never going to do you anything because here, all these big corporations, the whole country is run by the big corporations, and all you do is you give $150,000, $200,000 to a politician, and then they call the politician and they say, listen, I need something.
We got a contract for you to look at.
Yeah,
yes,
and do you remember
Goomba.
that we gave you this
Yeah.
That's
my
how it
friend.
worked.
They're all friends.
Oh, my friend.
I
yeah,
love
my
him.
friend.
I love him. He's
That's
great. Yeah.
And that's how the system works.
And you're going to pay that interest, and it's going to be 13 compounded over 15 and that sort of thing, and you're going to do that or else
you're going to screw everybody. And you're going to screw everybody.
We got this good friend called Goomba Bob.
Yeah.
Come
and
visit
listen,
you.
do you know why Standard & Poor's never got indicted with the fraud that went on these people's bought homes? They never had any money.
No, right.
And
you mean in 2003?
Yeah, because Standard & Poor's was the ones, I believe, in my opinion, that actually started this because the junk bonds that they had, they made them triple rated.
Milliken. Junk bonds,
Triple rated, okay? And the banks were giving them all kinds of money and supporting Standard & Poor's, and that's the reason that they never got indicted, they never went to jail, they never did anything. And they were the ones that really screwed the public, and they should have really gone to jail.
But isn't that the business of being a leader is to make sure you are never going to be indicted or put in jail or indicted for anything?
Well, listen.
And you've got all kinds of things to protect you against that with, lots of Goombas and things like that. Or soldiers. They have soldiers and police and things that protect you against the ravaging masses.
All you have to do is you have to step out.
Tear you apart from limb to limb for all the nasty that you've been doing.
Harold,
in support of a few little people who own everything, and the people are wallowing around in the mud, right?
That's right.
Like they should.
Yeah. But you just step out of line, and you go against the big corporations, and they're going to knock you off.
Yeah, right.
That's all they do is knock you off and kill you.
That's right.
And it's going to be suicide.
Yeah,
right.
Oh,
he committed suicide himself, but
poor fellow. Let's have a big send off.
Yeah.
Lots of bands and things.
Yeah. So that's what's happening with this.
Is that the politics that we're looking at?
We're looking at the politics now. We went right back to the election thing. That's right.
Yeah.
Everything is a payoff. It's a big payoff. It's a big payoff. We got to get one honest guy.
We had Honest Abe,
Well, we've got to get Honest Abe number 2 or number 3.
Honest Abe Hirschfeld. Remember Honest Abe Hirschfeld?
That's
Do you know
right.
Honest?
He
was friends with your friend.
Abe Hirschfeld.
Very good friend of your friend.
Oh.
Mr. The television guy.
The television, Franklin. I know
what
Abe
a
Hirschfeld
great
come over
they
to
were
me.
The best of buddies.
Yeah, but I want to tell you something. Abe Hirschfeld was supposed to produce my show that I had running over
at the. Is that right? You had a thing going with Honest Abe?
Honest
Abe.
I had a show which I did at Tavern on the Green.
Yeah.
It took me 5 years to write the show. It was a salute to Frank Sinatra, the man and his music.
Frank Sinatra could
and
sing.
I had a librella. I had a libretto.
Yeah.
I had 54 songs all combined in melodies and parodies and everything else.
Yeah.
It was like
melodies and parodies.
Yeah, In other words, what you do,
parodies, yeah,
what
right.
you do is you
Melodies and parodies. I've never heard the
melodies,
term.
melodies.
Melodies, not
Melodies,
melodies.
No, not
melodies.
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 What?
Melodies. Harold, let me tell you the
and
difference.
parodies.
A melody is a blah, 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 blah,
Yeah,
blah.
right.
Okay,
Yeah,
but
a melody.
a medley
A medley.
is you take 3 songs,
Yeah.
a minimum of 3 songs, 4 songs, 5, 6, 7,
Yeah.
and you
Combine
combine them into a one song, or you combine.
Have you done that?
Of course I've done that,
Have you done
absolutely.
that with any particular songs? What songs have you brought together?
Oh my God!
Like what songs have you linked
like,
that way in that a melody?
I don't remember, Harold, but I did this
It
many
was
years
your
ago.
favorites with
I
one.
know
Maybe
it
you
would-
could do it
well,
now.
look, if anybody
Roman
wants to
in the Gloman.
Harold,
Yeah.
I have one on YouTube. Anybody
Yeah.
wants to see it on YouTube?
Yeah.
They go in, they punch Danny Darrow.
Yeah.
Danny Darrow sings Frank Sinatra.
Yeah, but sing
and
it. Do it now. Can't you do it now?
I don't sing anything anymore.
You don't sing anymore?
I sing in the shower. I
sing in the
I
shower.
sing in the shower.
I have to get
sing
you in
while
the
I'm singing in
shower?
the bathroom.
Yeah.
I do anything. But Harold,
Yeah.
those days are gone, Harold.
Yeah.
The days are gone. So, but I can still look at myself on YouTube.
Yeah,
And I
right,
can see
right.
myself.
Singing 3 songs in a melody.
Singing, no. A salute. The show was a salute to Frank Sinatra, the man and his music.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. And it was a story about his life.
So has that got anything to do with politics? You
Nothing
think?
at all.
Nothing
Nothing at all. Absolutely
right?
nothing.
Well,
Nothing.
we're supposed to be talking about politics.
All right, so let's go back to politics. So let's get back to politics. Let's go back
I'm finding a lot of metaphors from the racketeering in politics.
Well, why don't we go back to the
comparisons to the racketeering stories?
racketeering, the Clinton conspiracy.
Yeah, 5
Everybody
points.
must see
Yeah.
the Clinton conspiracy with all the racketeering going on.
With all the
And there's witnesses.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
a
they
lot
had
of proof, a lot of
airplanes.
evidence
They
on
had
that show.
B-52s throwing it. I mean, big airplanes flying
No,
out
yeah,
of
but they were
Central
jets. They were,
America.
and they had all the cocaine in the nose of the airplane.
They had the cocaine
That's
in
how
the
they
nose
smuggled
of the
it in
people
to
flying the
Arkansas.
airplane.
They smuggled it into Arkansas.
Yeah, I know that. I know that was all brought out. And how did that get swept under the rug?
How
does all the nefarious
because the
things
people
of our
let me tell you,
political
Harold, let me
class
drink.
not paid any attention to, and they can get. If you win, you can get away with anything.
Harold.
They would just keep winning.
Harold.
Having lots of soldiers.
Listen.
Lots of soldiers.
Yeah.
Police and soldiers to
Harold.
protect you.
He was the governor at that time
Yeah,
of
you
Arkansas.
If you're the governor, it's like.
And
that
he
movie,
says, listen,
Blazing
the
Saddles.
law was on his side. He
Yeah.
had the power
Yeah.
to do whatever he wanted to do.
And the power
He had the
is-
full control of the police
Where does the power come
department.
from? The power comes from soldiers, no?
The
Is it
power
soldiers, or
comes
they call
from
them
the
police?
head of the state, and he was the governor of the state.
So if you better stay powerful, or else you're going to be in deep.
You're going to be wiped out.
Yeah, that's right. You're
That's
either
right.
powerful,
And you know how many people
or you're wallowing around in the mud.
They
like
were
most
out on the mud.
people.
They were all stamped suicides, the people that disappeared. Suicide,
Suicide.
because they wanted to turn them in.
I think the word
they
is
wanted to turn
suicide.
evidence.
I think it's suicide, not suicide.
It's
I
what
think suicide sounds like something a pig called.
Yeah.
Suicide.
Yeah,
Sui.
yeah.
Suicide is the word.
Suicide.
No, suicide.
Suicide? It sounds like something you're cooking.
Suicide.
Suicide.
Yeah.
Suicide. Listen, I'll tell you what. You know now. Do you know who's directing the show? Josiane is directing the show.
Josiane. Shall we?
And I
now
told
wait
her-
a minute.
I told
I don't want to
Josiane.
hear I don't want to hear a disparaging word.
No, there's no disparaging
No,
words, but
okay.
I want to tell you one
Nothing
thing.
but kudos.
Kudos,
Nothing but
absolutely
celebration.
kudos. Now, I told her I was going to Boston, Massachusetts one day.
Uh-huh.
And you know how she says Massachusetts?
Massachusetts.
No, she says Massachusetts.
Okay.
Massachusetts.
That's got some class to it.
That's
got
class. I know. That's
class
telling
to
you.
it.
I mean,
Yeah,
how do you do it? I know
yeah.
it's fabulous.
Give my regard to Massachusetts.
Yeah, give my regard to Massachusetts.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's right. It's fabulous.
Yeah,
Absolutely
yeah.
fabulous.
That's just sweet.
I know,
That's
I
good.
know,
Yeah,
I know.
That's
Well,
good. That's good. That's
Yeah,
good.
yeah,
They
yeah.
do that.
And then also, I developed a character on my show called Eric Von Ross. That
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
that I got from her.
Yeah.
You know, because her diction, she speaks 5 languages at the same time.
Amazing.
Five languages.
You can't speak 5 languages.
She's
at the same
5
time.
languages, Harold,
Nobody
at
can
the
speak.
same time.
You only got 2 sides of your
Yeah.
mouth you can speak
Yeah,
out of. You
and
speak
so-
out both sides of your mouth. You can't speak out of 5 sides of your mouth.
That's
You
right.
can't do
I
it.
know, but she
Can't
does
be
it. She
done,
can
brother.
do it. She
Can't
speaks
be
out of
done.
her ears, out of every other place that's available.
Well, this has to be put to the test.
Yes,
This
I
has
know.
to be
Well,
put
all
to
right,
the
you have to-
scientific test with people taking sure that all the bases are covered. right?
Harold, you ask her
We
and
get
she'll
into
do it for
baseball,
you. She
yeah.
does anything.
Yeah,
She'll
yeah.
do anything you want.
Well,
Anything you want. But I developed this guy, and this guy was the award-winning newscaster of what the government wants you to know.
Okay.
And yes. And
government
wants you to know. And of course, you know what the government wants you to know.
Yeah, well,
so he usually
how
comes
to
out.
pay taxes.
He
Here,
comes.
we'll
No,
show
he
you
comes
how.
out on my show, and my anchor Danny Dennis used to say, "Now tell us, what does our government want you to know?"
Right.
And Eric used to say. And he says, brilliant. I've never heard it so clear.
Well, but
and that's what our government wants you to know.
Yeah, right. If you got it all, kiddies, if you got it all, boys and girls, if you got all that down.
You got that all down?
You learn that in civics. You learn that in civics, basic civics, yeah.
That's
Everybody
right.
learns that.
That's right. That's
Everybody
right.
learns like that. Yeah, I tell you, it's really something else like that. It's going like that. So anyway, it's all going like crazy and everything like that. And I don't know, there's a lot of metaphors between all these different things. Maybe we're going overboard comparing the criminal class with the political class.
You
right?
are. Okay.
Yeah,
Let me
we
ask
are?
you something.
You think we're
Do
going
you
overboard?
think that any
That's
of
maybe overdrawn.
Okay.
There must have been one or two honest politicians. Or,
Well,
you know,
I'll
there were a
tell you
couple
something.
honest
Okay.
mafia guys, weren't there? There were some honest guys I knew, mafia guys.
Mafia.
They were
Speaking
real
about a
honest, they
mafia
got real
guy,
good people.
Harold, did I
There's
ever?
an honor among
Harold,
the mafia brothers. and
Harold, did I
soldiers,
ever tell
know?
you? Now, listen. This is
And
in.
the
This
Polish
is
mafia.
Harold.
They got a Polish mafia, Czechoslovakian mafia. They
That's
got,
right.
You know,
Russian mafia.
Russian mafia.
All
They
over
got-
Brooklyn, the Russian mafia.
And there's
They'll
an
kill
honor.
you for a roll of
They-
toilet paper,
oh,
Harold.
Right. Well, that might be. Yeah. Well, that's part of the creed.
That's right.
part of the.
Did
you know,
I ever tell you,
Yeah.
Harold? Now, this is secrecy. I don't want anybody to hear this, okay?
Oh, wait a minute.
This is
Okay.
just between you and me,
Okay.
Harold, okay?
Whisper.
Now, listen, I want to tell you something. I don't have to whisper. I
No.
just don't want anybody to hear this. That my ex-wife, before we were married, she was
I'm not
going,
sure I wanna
she was
hear
going
that
with
shit.
this mafia guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so after we got married, you know, she gave me this beautiful fur coat and everything while we get engaged and everything, get married and everything
Yeah,
else.
yeah.
And she bought me all kinds of presents
What,
and
you
everything.
a fur coat?
Yeah, well, I had a full mink coat. I used
had
to
a
go.
full mink coat?
Yeah, a men's for because men
Like
walk around with.
Bialystock.
Yeah, and then I had a seal jacket. I had everything. I mean, she would buy
Bialystock
me
and
everything.
blue.
You know how the Italians are, you know.
Well,
so I didn't.
yeah.
I mean, I
I
couldn't.
like Italian.
I know, but I couldn't go to a restaurant and hang it up because they
Yeah.
would steal it.
Ah, well, that's a problem.
You know, so I
Better
finally.
to be poor.
I finally sold it. I
Nobody
gave her
has
back the
yeah.
money, and then I think
You finally
I-
did what? You sold it?
I sold it and I gave her back the money that
gave
she
her the
spent.
money.
That's right. And I think a few months after we got married,
Yeah.
she went to Bari with her mafia boyfriend.
She went to Bali with her boyfriend?
Yeah, her mafia
She went
boyfriend.
to Bali.
Mafia boyfriend, and then after, now I don't
Took
want
the mink
anybody to
coat?
know
Did
this,
you
Harold.
take the mink
Harold,
coat
it's a
to
secret
Bali?
I'm telling you between you and myself,
okay,
okay?
okay.
And then what happened,
All
happened, there was, when she got back, there was a thing in the newspaper with his picture
Yeah.
saying that he murdered a guy,
Yeah.
committed murder, and he's going to
Really?
jail and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's just between you and me.
Did she
I don't
take
want
the mink
anybody to
coat
hear this.
to Bali because that's tropical? Did she take the mink coat to Bali?
No, Bade, it was
Bali-
sold already. No, but she
No.
was going with this guy a long time before she married me. It was her
I
boyfriend.
see. That was another thing. The
Another
mink
thing.
coat was not in Bali.
No, the guy,
I don't think the
and
mink
I'm not
coat should
mentioning
be in
his
Bali,
name or anything.
because Bali's very warm.
No, it's Bade.
Bari.
In other words, you got to fly to
I thought
Italy.
you said Bali.
Bali. You can do
Bali.
call it whatever you want,
Yeah.
and then you take a plane, a private plane, and you fly
I know you
over
don't
the
want a
mountains.
mink coat in Bali. Or you don't
No,
want a
I
mink
don't
coat.
know what they did.
Because
All
that's
they-
tropical.
listen,
We're warm.
Harold,
you
they're-
want bathing suits, bikinis.
Yeah, they're probably
yeah.
walking around with
Yeah.
rifles on them trying to kill people
Yeah,
because it's
right.
all Italian.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Of course.
Right, yeah.
That's right.
What about the Boy Scouts? What about
The
the Boy
Boy
Scouts? Were you
Scouts-
a Boy Scout, I guess? Did you learn how to tie all the knots and all that?
No, I never did. Did you?
Well, I wasn't a very good Boy Scout. I didn't.
You
last
were
very
a
long.
Boy Scout, Harold?
Well, I wasn't. I was a Cub Scout.
A Cub Scout.
But I flunked
Well-
the slip shot.
You
making
flunked?
making the knots. You had to turn knot. You had to tie knots. Square knots and square knots. And
Well,
all that.
you know, Josie Ann used to be a sailor, and she knows how to tie all these knots.
Yeah, that's good. That's very helpful
yeah,
if you're
yeah, she
sailing
was-
on a ship and everything.
Yeah, but a Boy Scout tying knots. Listen, Let me tell you something. There was a political rally going back to the elections. Oh no, going back to the awards, the Academy Awards.
Yeah.
And the guy that was fronting the Academy Awards, what's his name? You remember his name?
I don't. You mean the front man?
Yeah,
the guy
the MC.
The MC. I don't remember if Frank Sinatra's done it.
I don't know. Whatever it was, he had his daughters selling cookies.
Cookies.
Cookies,
Boy Scout cookies.
Boy
yeah.
Scout,
Girl
Girl
Scout
Scouts cookies.
cookies,
All
yeah,
right.
Girl Scouts.
They came
cookies.
in right away. You know how much they took in?
They took a lot off the top on the Girl Scout
$650,000
selling cookies.
Selling Girl Scout cookies.
Wow. Okay.
At the Academy Awards.
Yeah, but that's okay. It's the Boy Scouts and the Girl. Now those are things that have a quasi-political context and everything like that. And there's that. The Boy Scouts marching song, you know that, don't you?
Yeah.
Do you know it? Do you know the Boy Scouts marching song?
The Boy Scouts marching song.
Be
what is it?
prepared.
No, yeah, that's right.
That's the Boy Scouts marching song.
Yeah,
Be prepared.
You read. That's right.
As through life you move along, be prepared to hide your liquor very well. Don't write naughty words on walls if you can't spell.
All right.
Be prepared to hide that pack of cigarettes. Don't make book.
Yes.
If you cannot cover bets, don't solicit for your sister. That's not nice. Unless you get a good percentage of her price.
Oh,
you know
wonderful.
that one? That's from Newhart.
That
right?
yeah, no,
the
wait
guy,
a
he
minute.
was
There was a guy named Tom Lear.
Tom Lear did that.
That's right.
Tom Lear, and he was that was one of his songs. He
That's
wrote
right.
his song. He was great.
He was
great.
wonderful. He had a little. I think it was a little 10-inch LP.
So can we draw? We're drawing an analogy on this election day.
Yeah.
This is Big Tuesday.
That's right.
Super Tuesday, and everything like that.
That's
so
right.
So can we make any comparison between the Boy Scouts and the political process, or let's say the military as well?
Well,
you know?
I'll tell you.
Are there some comparisons that we can draw between those august institutions and so forth, and parts of the human condition?
All right, Harold.
Yes.
Let me answer you
Boy
this
Scouts.
way.
Politicians.
There is one or two politicians that are running for president.
Yeah.
And they are talking and criticizing other people like little Boy Scouts.
That's true. That is true, yeah.
They sound like little Boy Scouts. They sound, in my opinion, they sound absolutely stupid.
Do you think politicians are politicians are making book? Like betting on things that the odds are all being fixed, you know? Making bookmakers,
Harold,
you know?
a politician will make anything to make money.
Yeah.
They will say anything to make money.
No.
They will do anything to make money.
Is that like a Boy Scout leader?
I
think the Boy Scouts are
the
encouraging that with
Harold,
making book. You know?
I think they're
playing with economics, you know, big time, you know.
Well, Harold,
trying to get things to really get down at the reality of the political process.
I think
this day, the Super Tuesday.
I think one of the two honest men, I think, were Truman, where he said, you know, the buck stops here.
Was that Truman?
That was Truman.
Was that Truman?
The buck stops here.
That was a good line.
Yeah, it was a wonderful line.
Who got him that line? Do you know? Who did
I have no idea who was
our PR guy?
Yeah. I don't know.
Right, yeah.
And then, of course, we had Roosevelt.
Yeah.
He was crippled. He was in a wheelchair all the time.
We have nothing to do with lose but fear itself. We have
Yeah,
nothing to fear but fear itself.
I think, in my opinion, they could have been honest men. They were honest men.
I think that there probably was. He had some lady in the.
Well, they always have ladies on the side.
Well,
what do you expect? Harold, let me ask something. Have you got a lady on the side?
No, I've got nothing. No.
Why?
No, because I just don't, you know, because gentlemen don't do that.
Well, wait a minute. But, Harold, did you always consider yourself being a gentleman?
Well, I never thought myself a political guy. You know, I've never thought myself being political. No, I didn't. No. Just,
but as a gentleman, Harold.
Gentleman and a scholar. That's what one ought to be.
A scholar and a gentleman.
Yes.
Well, listen. If you're a scholar and a gentleman, then you're smart enough.
You're
smart enough to have a friend on the side, a girlfriend on the side, Harold. Harold, tell us the truth. Listen, no one is listening. No one is watching. Harold, please.
You want me to?
I want you to tell me the honest to goodness truth.
It's
Harold?
The girlfriend that was you know what I mean.
Harold.
I got to admit it.
Yes.
It was Carol, my big sister.
Carol, your big
She
sister.
was my one that I used to go to and get the advice. She gave me all kinds of
Harold.
like a light in the sky, giving me direction and everything like that.
Isn't that wonderful?
That was it. My sister, the
Was
best
she-
sister in the history of the world.
Was she an older sister or younger sister?
Older, of course.
Oh,
she was
sister.
my guiding light. Who did that? Yeah.
Isn't that wonderful?
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
And I definitely had the best mother in the world, no doubt about that.
Yeah. Tell me about your mother. Tell
my
me about your
was-
mother.
No, there's not. She was just the best mother in the history of the universe. That's all.
The best?
The best.
Okay.
The best. Better. Yeah.
Yeah. Was she a
For
good cook?
it was
she a-
Mary, Mary, long before the fashions came, within society, propriety. Well, yes, that was that. And, yeah, that's right. And I've also got now the best dog. I got the best dog.
Yeah, you told
And
me you
that
got a new dog.
That dog is
Is
now
that a
my
new dog or an old dog?
Yeah, we got a new dog. We got the old dog, the Humphreys, like
Okay.
the what do you call it? The Emperor.
Yeah.
And then we got the new dog.
Oh,
And
and how-
he walks on his hind feet. He's got hair in front of his face.
Really?
He walks on his hind feet, and he's funnier than Charlie Chaplin.
Oh, that's
I
wonderful.
think you can learn more from dogs than you can from politicians.
Oh, let me
maybe,
ask you,
know?
how old-
Dogs are honorable, you know.
They are.
I mean, they really are.
Listen,
They're really
a dog
honorable.
will save your life.
That's right. Yeah.
That's right. A dog will definitely save your life. A cat won't.
No.
A dog will always save your life. How old?
Cats are very imperious.
I know.
They're
How
very-
old is the new dog?
I don't know. The cats sit like this. They sit. It's a whole different thing.
That's right, a whole
but there's-
different-
There's quality. There's great qualities in the cat.
Yes, I understand that,
expression
but
of
not
it.
for you.
No, but it's a
For them
different-
only.
It's a different thing. We got two cats too, and they're beautiful. They're sisters from the same litter.
Yeah.
And they're beautiful.
Yeah.
I think the dogs. I used to say that to my mother. I thought dogs were better than people. What do you think?
I
don't know.
also think,
a
yeah.
Dog,
Well, animals.
Animals. Yeah. Or you know what's better than people are little people. Little people are better than big people. It
Well,
seems
now,
to
wait,
me.
wait,
And there's
wait.
a lesson in there. Little 5-year-olds are absolutely gorgeous. Absolutely
Because
universally
they
gorgeous.
haven't been through
They haven't been. They
through
haven't
the
been,
muck and mire that we've been
well,
through.
no, but it's just that they are absolutely. They have no artifice. They're honest, and they're just innocent, and they're gorgeous.
That's right.
And then in growing up, they
They're-
end up like us.
Well,
What a sad commentary that we can't all be as children. Do you think?
Harold, speak for
They're
yourself. Harold.
honest. They're
Harold,
honest.
speak for yourself.
They're
Harold.
honest. They really are. Well, okay. I'm just saying.
No, kids are wonderful. I love kids.
Little kids,
I
we
love
could-
them when they're young,
we
but
should
when
be
they get
led by-
older, Harold,
like us.
like us, watch out.
Watch out. Yeah. No, but there's a metaphor in there, is there not?
That's
We're talking
right.
about the political process.
That's right.
Why
Right.
is it that as the things mature, as things get older, they lose the innocence, you know?
They lose the
William
innocence.
Blake, Songs of Innocence, you know? There's something.
You know why they lose their innocence, Harold?
Well, I'm not sure.
I'll tell you why.
Why is that, and what has that got to do with politics on this Super Tuesday?
Because the kids
They're
play
losing
marbles.
the innocence of youth.
Har-
Why must we lose the innocence and honesty of youth?
Because the kids.
That's a serious question, but we do.
Yeah, we do.
Okay, and it's called practical.
Okay.
Okay, so that's the thing. There's a confusion. So that's the thought for the day.
All right.
Yeah.
Now,
on
the
this,
reason why they lose the innocence is because they play marbles.
they play marbles,
Yeah. Because if you have more marbles,
but they play together.
that's what I'm saying.
You go to a swimming pool with 5-year-olds, and everybody's laughing and carrying on, and everybody's helping. Everything's doing. It's true.
But that's before
I've
they
noticed-
started playing marbles.
Well, okay. Well, now you're talking about the thing of what happens when you get to be like big.
Big, yeah.
Why
Then
should
you.
why should the process be going from very beautifully honest, if honesty is a value, to chicanery, and all of the selfishness and greed and anger and awful and killing and so forth of the aged or the process? Why should a process be something that results in that kind of an outcome? Does it happen with muskox? Does it happen with cows? Does it happen with other creatures?
No,
Is
I
it
don't think
part of the
so.
evolutionary process that things must become ugly compared to what they are when they're in
Isn't
some
that terrible?
golden moment or something?
That's
Can we
right. That's
capture
absolutely
that?
terrible,
Why
Harold.
can't we keep the good things and not allow the bad things to creep in like that in terms of the passage
Because
the passage of time and the taking over of the process by political classes of people? Why is that?
Because we have politicians, that's why.
Well, you have politicians, but you have a process of evolution, perhaps.
Yeah,
too.
but politicians play marbles.
Yeah, well, that's true. They
Yeah,
play with our
if
marbles.
you have more marbles than I have,
Yeah,
and
right.
they're prettier than what I have, I want your marbles.
I don't know. Maybe it's because I've been too long away from kindergarten or something. But I remember my kids. I had
You know
kids,
something? Kindergarten was
and
the
my
best.
grandchildren, they're just gorgeous. Every little kid is gorgeous. Why do they turn into us?
Because
Why is there a process that takes place? Why can't we keep the innocence and the beauty of innocence of youth to good value and to inform the institutions by which human big people get along?
it'll never work out.
You never work out.
Never
you don't
work
think
out,
you can't
Harold.
work. Well, you could think about it in
Yeah.
terms of historical.
Yeah,
Maybe
never work
something
out.
can happen historically. Are things getting worse or better through time? What do you think?
I think things are
Despite
going to
the
get. I
politicians.
think things are going to get a lot worse.
You're going to get worse.
Worse. They're not going to get better.
Well,
They're going to get a lot worse, Harold. A lot worse.
There's a lot of room. There's a lot of room for worse. You know.
Yeah, a lot of
Maybe-
room. Listen, if you walk down the
James
street,
Joyce had Daedalus
Okay.
say, "History is a nightmare," and one could add of injustice, from which we're
and it
attempting-
repeats itself
So
too.
well, that's another term. But the one quote we're dealing with now is history is a nightmare from which we're attempting to awaken.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think maybe we're making progress and we're awakening to something? Maybe it's are things getting better or worse through time? That's like the metaphor of children, and then we're getting older, and the society's getting older, and the societally it's getting older. Is it getting better or worse, do you think?
I
through
think it's
time?
getting worse, Harold.
You
it's
think
getting
it's
worse.
getting worse?
Yes, and I
through
think it's
time?
going to get a lot
It was
worse.
better 1,000
It's
years
ge-
ago.
And Harold, don't forget,
Mm.
we have a Muslim administration.
A Muslim administration.
Now, there's good Muslims and bad Muslims, but we don't have a good Muslim administration, in my belief.
a Muslim administration in the United States now?
Yes,
What- I
in the
don't know.
United States.
Yeah.
All right, we have an administration that's running this government. All right,
The administration.
and there's proof and everything else.
Yeah, we're too early. Yeah.
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 And excuse me, you got to close the door because we're taping now.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, and and every move that they make is against my belief. It's my belief. It's against everything that we're trying to do. Everything. And I really forgot a lot of these things. What is Obama trying to do now?
Well, you just put that thing against Iran, and there's a lot of opposition to that. And we got this guy coming to want to let a Muslim in the country.
Yeah.
You know, that's a move toward peace and so forth.
Yeah,
Like that.
yeah.
Yeah. We just invaded Iraq, which is probably the biggest mistake in the history of
That's right.
modern
Okay,
history
all
for
right.
a long time.
And Hillary Clinton went ahead with that, and she said, I was for that.
And
I was for it, and then she came back and said, "Oh, I never wanted it to happen like that. I was against it."
Well, they made mistakes. People have. There were some mistakes made by the administration before that. There's been mistakes. There's
Yeah.
been mistakes made and everything.
Yeah,
Like that.
a lot of mistakes, a lot
Yeah.
of tremendous mistakes. And during the time the World Trade Center, they knew what was going to happen.
They got all kinds of theories about how that was done.
Yeah.
A lot of conspiracy theories.
That's right,
things
and that
they've gotten
happened
rid of some of
earlier.
them. Yeah.
And then that happened earlier with what was it? Where they just planted a bomb in the parking lot and stuff like that, and they blew it up at the very beginning, and then everybody knew. The Bush people knew. They all knew, and they did nothing about it, from what I understand.
Yeah,
You
well,
know?
there's been a lot of collusion
A
throughout.
lot of collusion and
There
everything.
there was
of course.
collusion in the court of Louis the 16th. There was collusion in Caesar's court. I mean, he got stabbed by people who were his honor. There's been a lot of things
That's
going
right.
on through time. But maybe that's overdoing it and everything. But the innocence of children and the innocence. Do you think that? Let me just ask a question on this election day and so on. Are you optimistic or pessimistic for the human prospect in this year 2016 of the Christian era?
I don't quite understand the question.
Oh,
Harold.
okay, right.
Okay. So if you want to repeat that and maybe elaborate a little more for me, maybe I would understand it.
Well, I don't know if it's worth it. We've been talking on this kind of a thing, and what the trend is where ever more power we're getting over nature, right? We're getting more powerful over nature, and we're getting more and more ability to understand. We're getting smarter all the time. We used to have all kinds of things we had to live with, myths and things like that, because we're getting smarter. I guess there was a time when there was no Homo sapien in the mix.
Mm-hmm.
There were just earlier hominoids that we were contained in, and the evolutionary process seemed to be evolving. So we evolve and we got a couple 100,000 years we've been here as a species, and we got more and more control over the environment. We learned how to make food rather than have to just go around and find carrion to eat in order to live, like a lot of creatures do. We were probably prey of cats for a long time that could run faster, had bigger claws, and could bring us down with alarming, like rabbits to a lion or something like that. But we finally get to be where we got more and more control over it through knowledge and the ability to extend consciousness and grow. So that would be Songs of Innocence, Song of Experiences, Blake. And so it's an experience, and we get more and more. So we finally get that up to where we got more and more power to have the weapon systems, the soldiers that can give power and immediate political legitimacy to a particular system that's setting itself up. We have these politics and so forth. And we have that. And so the thing is that makes it possible for one group to be able to set themselves up as a powerful group vis-a-vis another one is that they got the bigger weapon systems and armies to do. And then they get creation stories and PR about our system's better than yours. And then those weapon systems get more and more powerful through time. And it's an arms race that gives power and political legitimacy. It's called realpolitik, being realistic rather than innocent like children. We're innocent. We're not innocent. We're powerful. We can influencing. And now the weapons have become, if they're unleashed in a spasm of some hatred, it means the end, apparently, from the modeling of the species, the Homo sapiens species. Do you think that's true? That's a factual thing that is true, that we now have the capability collectively of our weapon systems by which we fight one another and carry on politically and otherwise, that if it was unleashed in a spasm of hatred, there's a lot of hatred in the world, venal anger, jealousies, these kind of things. And if they were unleashed, that apparently, from what the modeling says now, I mean, maybe we can get over it, but not, their start and things like that. But if they're unleashed, the tridents of the United States fleet and so and some things that exist, they exist in reality, that it would be the end of our whole species. Do you think that's true? That would be like stopping evolutionary pattern that we've been following in terms of the history of mankind. Do you think that's true?
All right. Harold, would you please repeat that? Harold?
No, are the weapons,
I know, Harold.
Are the collective weapon systems, we couldn't do that in the Second World War. We were trying to kill each other as best we could.
Yeah.
Full tilt boogie, right? Battle of the Bulge.
Okay, all right.
No holds barred. Terrible things. Auschwitz, everything.
That's
Hatred,
right. That's right.
And
That's
we were
right.
and we were impotent at the level of species. That seems to be no longer the case.
Yes.
That we're now at a position where we have the capability, the weapons that exist, they don't have to be invented. We had to invent them. We had to invent them and then build them and do all that. They exist now.
Right, Harold, I got to ask you a question.
Okay.
Do you believe in extraterrestrial beings?
I wouldn't want to think, I don't know anything about that sort of thing. I think there's some, I don't want to get in, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to get off on this and everything.
You didn't get off. You just kept going. It was wonderful, Harold. Absolutely wonderful.
It was just a thought that came off the thing about innocence, because in a certain sense, we were much more innocent when we were wandering around on the Serengeti plain with just spears and so forth. We were innocent.
Yeah.
Like
when was this, Harold?
Well, I don't know. We know the species appeared about 200,000 years ago, the Homo sapiens species.
Yeah, all right,
That's when it evolved.
All right, okay.
And then we were wandering around.
All right, okay.
And we finally got evolution. We got agriculture, so we could get some growth, industrialization, and everything. The whole process, 10,000 generations.
Yeah.
About 200,000 years ago we appeared. That's what
200,000
they
years ago.
seem to be
In fact,
telling
they
us.
just found a big, tremendous dinosaur.
Yeah.
I don't remember how long. Several hundred feet long, 600 feet long.
Yeah,
or
I saw
something?
that on NOAA, I think.
Yeah, yeah.
There was what it was up in. Yeah, that was. Yeah, but that's got nothing to do. That was way long before humanity. Millions of years ago.
2,500 years ago or something? Did they claim?
Well,
you remember that?
The crustacean, the period when the dinosaurs were here is millions and millions of years ago. The planet's been here. We know all that and everything.
Yeah.
But what we done is you got to the evolution. There was evolution, and now we've evolved out of that process. And now we got weapons that we can destroy.
We can destroy. That's right.
But we couldn't do it 200 years.
Okay,
we couldn't
but
do it 20. We couldn't do it 50 years ago.
Do you-
It's only now that we've gotten to the point where we either have to grow up or blow up. We're going to have to move into some sort of a new way.
I think we're going to blow up, Harold.
Well, let's not hope.
Let's not hope that. But you know that that every government sells weapons to their enemies.
I know. Well, that's not very. If we're going to take all of our lessons about how whoever's got the biggest club can go hit the other one on the head and resort to that kind of thinking and everything like that we've done with alarming regularity throughout all of what we call the human experience.
And
we're in pretty much deep. We need a new kind of transformation of something that would maybe then put us into a new relationship in the universe. Imagine a world where everybody's able to be innocently able to realize their full potential to their full capability, and everybody did like a gigantic jam session with Louis Armstrong hitting high C. That will interaccommodate us to universe at a level transcendent to what we've been throughout 200,000 years of evolution. We may have a rendezvous, our generation may have a rendezvous with change at a level of species. That we're coming to a point because we have a capability of taking care of everybody that we've never had. So it's a time of realizing
Well,
that.
do you know why the governments like to have wars? Because they make a lot of money.
Yeah, I know.
They make a lot of money on wars, and that's what it's all about, making money on wars, killing people, and everything else. It's a terrible thing.
So happy, what is this? It's called Super Tuesday, right?
Super
and they're having an
Tuesday,
election process
and
going here in the
and
United
if you don't want the world to come to an end, think about who you're going to vote for.
Not only does the world come to an end, but we also have an incredibly equally yin and yang capability of providing for everybody that we've never had out of all of history. There's not been enough ever.
That's right.
For everybody. For one to win, somebody else had to lose.
That
right. May be that we're overcoming that collectively for the whole of the human society and the ecology. And we may be at this moment of qualitative transformation in terms of evolution at a level transcendent to, on a species level. We'll be coming into a new relationship as there has been throughout the whole process of evolution itself. We may be coming into a new, but we won't know that until we get there.
That's right. But we do need.
If we get there.
But we do need. We don't need a politician in office. We need somebody smart enough to turn this economy around and to make the world a better place.
Well, I guess maybe but not in just a better place like this bill or that bill or this bill or this thing or that thing.
I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that.
A qualitative other understanding. Essentially, there is enough. There's never been enough. There is enough. And it's only been since about 1970, our generation. So this is making that a really crucial time in terms of evolutionary development. And so that's a thought that sort of end up here as we talk at the end of this. So welcome to this discussion of...
this is Harold Hudson Channer's show.
Right,
all right?
Yeah.
And Harold Hudson Channer, I'm sorry that you did not have a piece of the Hudson Motor Car Company.
Yeah, Richard had too.
Because the Hudson cars were absolutely gorgeous.
Super Tuesday, Ruby Tuesday. Okay, thanks a lot coming in, Danny. Thanks a lot.
Oh, you're very welcome. We're very, very welcome, Harold. It was a pleasure being on the show. I love you. I love the Hudson cars. I love everything. And let's hope that...
My middle name is Hudson, yeah.
I know your real name is Hudson because it's
I
right
can
on
go
the
into that,
screen.
but I know.
I know because Josie Ann printed all over the screen with
I know,
the show
but
all the
listen,
time.
we're out. So listen, get ready, countdown. Now we only got 10 seconds.
We
10,
got that 998888765.
Say goodbye.
Yeah, think about it. But
Say
we
goodbye.
got 12 more.
Wish
Harold,
everybody
we got
a good
12
year.
more on my clock over here.
Everybody, wish you all a good. Say Happy New Year.
Happy New Year,
Happy
but
election
it's not.
Happy
It's happy
election day
election.
almost.
Make sure you vote for the right person.
Right.
That's it.
That's it. Thank you for viewing. Okay. Oh God.
Oh
Okay.
God, Harold, you got to cut your show down to a half hour.
I gotta.
Harold, your
apologize.
show is so long.
I know. I'm probably.
Harold, an hour show is too long.
No, it's not.
Wow.
Well, I got to apologize to this guy, okay? So
What
I
guy?
may have gone home because he came.
He went